Alright, so today we're going to look at how to make a scatter plot with a linear regression line using the TI-84 graphing calculator. Over here is my short set of data set that I'm going to be using. And first we would input the data, which you can see I've already done. From here we want to go to our statistical plot, so we're going to hit second stat plot. And we want to turn on our first statistical plot. So make sure that the cursor is on and then hit the enter. Here we have our 6 different types of statistical plots the calculator can do. The first one is the scatter plot, which is what we want. So we're going to leave it there. Then we need to tell the calculator which list we want it to graph. Now the default is L1 and L2, so if you've put your data in there you don't have to change it. If you wanted to change it, you simply hit second and whatever number you put in, whatever list you put in. But again, I put mine in L1 and L2, so I'll change that back. And then here are the different marks you can use. Doesn't really matter which you use, that's completely up to you. And then we hit graph. Now you notice all you can barely see is one of my points up here, and that's because the calculator is showing a specific window, which you can tell it which window you want to see. We obviously need to adjust ours, so to do that we're going to go over here to the window button. For some reason my students often have a hard time with this, but this is a really simple concept. The X min and max is telling the calculator how far to the left and right. So to set an appropriate window, we need to come over here and look at our X list. Our X minimum needs to be a little bit smaller than the smallest number. My smallest number is 10. So I can do really anything less than 10. I'm going to go all the way down to -1 so I can see my origin of my graph. For the max, same thing. My max is 20, so I'm going to go a little bit higher than that. I like nice round numbers, so I'm going to go to 25. The X scale is simply how big you want your scale, how many tick marks you want in. Doesn't really matter. I don't like a lot of tick marks because it kind of makes things messy, so I'm going to actually change mine to 0. Then I'm going to do the same thing for the Y's. Again, I want to see the origin, so I'm going to go to -1. My max, this time I need to go something a little bit above 21. So 25 still works. Now everything is put in, we've got an appropriate window. Now when we hit graph, we can see our scatter plot, and there's our 5 points. However, usually when we're doing scatter plots, we also want to see some sort of regression line. So I'm going to show you how to do that next as well. We're going to go back to our statistics window, our stat button. This time we're going to arrow over to calculate. And we're going to go down to number 4 here. You can either do that by using the arrows or just by hitting the number 4. Now we need to tell the calculator what linear regression data points we want to make this out of. So since my X list, we always want to do independent first, is in L1, I'm going to tell the calculator L1 by hitting second 1, comma, because this tells the calculator that we're entering in a new piece of data. My L2, my dependent list, goes next. But I'm also going to ask the calculator to go ahead and graph this regression line for me, so I don't have to go back by hand and enter the regression line or the regression formula into the graphing calculator. So to do that, we're going to go to our VARs button down here, right under the thumb pad. And we want this to go into a Y variable, so we're going to go over to the Y. This is a function, so we're going to press enter. And since this is the only graph I'm graphing right now, I'm going to put it in Y1. You can put it in other graphs if you're wanting to graph multiple lines at once. Now we've got everything ready, we just simply hit enter. This gives us our linear regression line. The A, as you can see up here, the A is my slope, so my slope is 1. My B over here is the y-intercept, and in this case my y-intercept is 2. And then it also gives me my Pearson correlation coefficient. Please refer back to your notes to know exactly what these numbers mean, but this will give it the correlation for you so you don't have to figure it by hand. But when I hit graph, because I did that y-vars, that third command, it enters the line in for me so I don't have to do it by hand. There is our regression line. As you can see, most of my points are pretty close to the line, which we should expect with that high correlation that this line gave us. And that's how you make a scatter plot with regression line.